DayZ just wrapped up 2024, and while they did that, they also teased 2025 and what exactly they plan to do. So here I'll tell you exactly what they've just said, like a really annoying parrot who over enunciates every single word. If you liked the video, please leave a like or a subscribe, it really helps me out. But without further ado, let's get into the video. I think I'm gonna go. So after taking a break from flying my drone around the New Jersey airport, I stumbled upon an official breakdown of DayZ numbers of 2024, and they are really interesting. So before we talk about 2025, let's talk about 2024. So as always on the yearly wrap, DayZ just revealed a bunch of really cool numbers, and here I'm going to go through them. First of all, we had 3 updates in 2024. That was patch 124 to patch 126. Obviously each one bringing its own unique things, including the new DLC Sakal, which has sold 450,000 plus units so far, and patch 126, which turned out to be more of an expansion than an actual update. Player wise, they had an all-time new high concurrent player peak on PC of 79,000 players in October. They also had a new daily user peak record on Steam of around 355,000 on Steam, 137,000 on PlayStation, and 188,000 on Xbox, which is a combined 325,000 players on console. It's a lot of players. And the last couple of numbers before we move on to 2025, BattlEye bans 20,000 cheaters, totaling 150,000 bans since BattlEye took over, which is actually 10,000 fewer than a year before, if I remember correctly. So does that mean that cheaters are getting fewer and far between, or they're just getting more adaptable to anti-cheat measures? Maybe let me know in the comments. And the last number I was going to share is there were over 37,000 new mods created, which is a crazy high number, especially in a year where one of the devs said they are trying to bring mods to console. So what about 2025? What have they confirmed, and what do I think they could possibly add? Well, let's jump in. They sort of reference that they have a framework they go by every single year, which I've discussed before, beginning with stability enhancements early in the year, followed by incremental releases and seasonal events. And they've confirmed that that's what they will be doing going forward, specifically focusing on enhancements to DayZ Frostline and the DayZ base game. So with this confirmed support, it looks like DayZ will get a whole lot better in 2025. So what does this actually translate to? Well, luckily we have years of information to draw upon to sort of figure this out. So starting with Frostline, how is that going to change, and then moving on to the base game? In the first few months, we'll likely see a new gun, maybe some aesthetic items such as hat, gloves, maybe a new coat or something along those lines, plus a big list of stability improvements. That'll be the first update more than likely. The next update, however, should have a little bit more meat on it, where I suspect they will focus more on Frostline and fleshing it out, diving into locations, rebalancing a lot, and doing some arguably much needed improvements to the surrounding islands on Sakal. But what about the base game of DayZ? Well, this is where I think it gets interesting, or at least it has the potential to be. So in my video, some of you may remember from the other year, I speculated they were going to work on Livonia and improve that, and then improve Northwest Airfield, and then probably come out with a new map or some form of DLC. That for me felt like the natural progression and was the only roadmap that kind of made sense. But there was one more thing at the end of it that I also predicted, and honestly I'm sticking to my guns with it. I still think that the end of next year's update will be focused on base building. Now I don't know if it will be a complete rework of base building, if we'll have new assets for base building, maybe new ways to build a base, because it's the only real change to the core gameplay and mechanics and everything else that players have been requesting that they haven't delivered yet. Now this is obviously going to be a huge update if they actually do it, because it will change so many things, but it'll also add so much longevity to DayZ by completely enhancing the end game. And I think when we're talking about what the most requested feature is with regards to content additions and reworks, this is everything we want, or at least it's on the top of most players' lists. And it's common for DayZ to do things before they make bigger updates. For example, with the M79, that sort of led the way for the crossbow, and then with the temperature changes, obviously we had the map later on that was a snow map, and we've also had an update for C4, which could easily lead the way to more base building, or maybe it won't. But I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to say that the biggest update next year will likely be that, and the medium update will be some improvements to the islands and some other aesthetic things to just give Sakala a little bit more, flesh it out and make it more balanced. But what do you think? Do you think I'm right, or do you think I'm just miles away from what they'll likely do? Either way, with them promising more updates, it looks like 2025 is going to be a great year for DayZ. But if you want more information, then click this video here, or for something else, click here. And as always, until next time.